President Trump's ex-personal fixer, Michael Cohen, testified before Congress today. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. We say this a lot, but today was truly one of the most eventful days of the Trump presidency. It's not often you have one of the president's closest personal confidants testify before Congress about their relationship, and Republicans were clearly freaking out about Cohen's testimony in advance. One Republican congressman, Matt Gaetz, even tried to intimidate Cohen on Twitter yesterday by threatening to reveal sensitive personal information.
He tweeted this: "Hey, Michael Cohen, do your wife and father-in-law know about your girlfriends? Maybe tonight would be a good time for that chat. I wonder if she'll remain faithful when you're in prison. She's about to learn a lot."
That's a congressman saying that stuff. Even if it was a mafia thug, the other mafia thugs would go, "Oh! Leave the guy's wife out of it!" And I didn't think anyone could outsleaze Donald Trump, but you did it, my friend. You were trying to intimidate a witness on Twitter. What's next? Are you going to Instagram a photo of a brick with a caption, "About to throw this through your window"? Now, all of this was happening while Trump was in Vietnam for his summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. In fact, at one point, Trump was asked a question about the Cohen hearing with Kim sitting right next to him.
Mr. President, is there any reaction to Michael Cohen and his testimony?
Look at Kim's face. I mean, that is... Even he's like, "I'm so happy I'm not Donald Trump right now." Now, Republicans were obviously desperate to dismiss Cohen's testimony as a sideshow. This morning, Fox News host Brian Kilmeade complained that the other networks were so obsessed with the hearing because they had countdown clocks.
It's kind of amazing, too. Another network has a countdown clock, not to Kim Jong-un's dinner and the negotiations with world peace at stake, but to Michael Cohen's testimony.
That's right. Brian Kilmeade thinks it's dumb to have a countdown clock. So it must have come as a shock when the show right after Fox and Friends immediately put up a countdown clock. Maybe Brian Kilmeade just doesn't know what a clock looks like. He thought those numbers were the results of his IQ test. Oh, no! Oh, it's going down! And once the Cohen hearing got underway, the GOP ranking member of the committee, Jim Jordan, tried to make a motion, presumably to delay or interfere with the hearing, but he made the mistake of yielding back his time first. And the Democratic chairman of the committee, Elijah Cummings, wouldn't let him have the time back.
Mr. Chairman, we are better than this. We are better than this. I yield back. Actually,
I wanted to note,
Mr. Chairman, actually, I have a motion.
back.
I have a motion.
The gentleman is not recognized.
I have a motion under Rule 2K6 of Rule 11.
You yielded back, sir. You yielded back.
Amazing. He tried to throw a wrench into the hearing, but accidentally yielded his time. He forgot that the #1 rule of Congress is no takebacks. And then it came time for Cohen to speak himself. Cohen wasted no time in going after Trump personally and directly in his opening statement, and he touched on so many of the central questions surrounding the president, everything from whether Trump was aware of the emails hacked during the campaign to whether Trump had lied about plans to build a Trump Tower in Moscow to whether Trump personally reimbursed him for the hush payment to Stormy Daniels.
He was a presidential candidate who knew that Roger Stone was talking with Julian Assange about a WikiLeaks drop on the Democratic National Committee emails. Mr. Trump knew of and directed the Trump-Moscow negotiations throughout the campaign and lied about it. He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair and to lie about it to his wife, which I did. A lot of people have asked me about whether Mr. Trump knew about the release of the hacked documents, the Democratic National Committee emails, ahead of time. And the answer is yes.
Damn. He just listed off a bunch of alleged crimes committed by the president on national TV. You know, it's so ironic. Trump finally went to Vietnam, and he's getting killed back home. In fact, Cohen even provided a copy of a check Trump personally signed to pay off Stormy Daniels. Look at that. That is a check the president wrote while he was in office to break election law and cover up an affair. And you can tell because it was signed by President Trump's signature looks like he was trying to draw a straight line while riding a roller coaster. Now, before today, prosecutors had not technically identified Trump as the person who orchestrated the hush money scheme. In court filings, prosecutors referred to him only as Individual One, although they did give us a clue as to Individual One's identity. On approximately June 16, 2015, Individual One began an ultimately successful campaign for President of the United States. So everyone knew Individual One was Trump, and yet in his testimony, Cohen still delivered it like it was some big dramatic reveal.
Last fall, I pled guilty in federal court to felonies for the benefit of, at the direction of, and in coordination with Individual Number One. And for the record, Individual Number One is President Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump? Ay, Dios mío. Cohen also provided what he claimed was an explanation for Trump's behavior during the campaign. He never expected to be president. He acted only in his own personal interest, and that's because he saw the campaign as an opportunity to enrich himself.
Donald Trump is a man who ran for office to make his brand great, not to make our country great. He had no desire or intention to lead this nation, only to market himself and to build his wealth and power. Mr. Trump would often say this campaign was going to be the greatest infomercial in political history.
It's true. And like any product you buy from an infomercial, it turned out to be much crappier than it looked on TV. Trump, if we're being honest, Donald Trump is the Slanket of presidents. On TV, you thought, that's cool, a blanket with sleeves. And now 2 years later, it's stained, shrinking, and filled with farts. And you're like, get this thing out of my house. And Cohen wasn't just there to testify about the president's alleged crimes. He also provided information about everything from Trump's long history of racism to his net worth. In fact, Cohen revealed that even though Trump waged a racist campaign to get President Obama to release his college records, he made Cohen threaten Trump schools not to release his grades and SAT scores.
I'm talking about a man who declares himself brilliant, but directed me to threaten his high school, his colleges, and the college board to never release his grades or SAT scores.
I shudder to imagine what Trump's SAT score was. It had to be a perfect score. I filled in every circle. Cohen also talked in depth about the infamous Trump Tower meeting with the Russians in June 2016. Again, Trump has claimed he knew nothing about that meeting, which was organized by his son, Don Jr. Cohen said he suspected Trump did know about the meeting based on something he saw happen in Trump Tower.
I remember being in a room with Mr. Trump, probably in early June of 2016, when something peculiar happened. Don Trump Jr. came into the room and walked behind his father's desk, which in and of itself was unusual. People didn't just walk behind Mr. Trump's desk to talk to him. And I recall Don Jr. leaning over to his father and speaking in a low voice, which I could clearly hear, and saying, "The meeting is all set." And I remember Mr. Trump saying, "Okay, good, let me know."
He said it in a low voice Cohen could clearly hear. These guys are too dumb to whisper. Hey, Dad, I got an idea for a crime. Whisper. Hey, Dad, I got an idea for a crime. But the standout line from Cohen's account of the Trump Tower meeting was what came next. Cohen said he was surprised Trump would listen to Don Jr. because of what Trump had said about his son behind his back.
What struck me as I looked back and thought about the exchange between Don Jr. and his father was first, that Mr. Trump had frequently told me and others that his son Don Jr. had the worst judgment of anyone in the world.
Man, you know what's bad? When you get dissed for being dumb by the guy who threatened his college not to release his SAT scores. He's dumber than me, and I'm dumb as a rock. Now, one of the most stunning things about this hearing was seeing the contrast between the Republicans and the Democrats on the panel. Normally, when you're getting ready for a big hearing like this, you prepare in advance, you come up with a plan, you coordinate your questions. And some of the Democrats were very focused and prosecutorial.
Did the president call you to coordinate on public messaging about the payments to Ms. Clifford's in or around February 2018?
Yes.
Was the president interested in reducing his local real estate bills, tax bills?
Yes.
Is there any other wrongdoing or illegal act that you are aware of regarding Donald Trump that we haven't yet discussed today?
Yes.
And now let's see how prepared the Republicans were, like, for example, Arizona Republican Congressman Paul Gosar.
There's no truth with you whatsoever. That's why that's important to you, to look up here and look at the old adage that our moms taught us, liar, liar, pants on fire. No one should ever listen to you and give you credibility. It's sad. It's sad that we have come. In fact, I want to quote the chairman's very words. This is a real, hold on.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Sad state.
His time expired while he was looking for it. Really hurts your big dramatic ending when you can't even find the line you wanted to read. It's like if JFK had gotten up and said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask." Hold on, I have it here somewhere. It's here just a minute ago. I guess my time's up. Also, maybe when you were preparing for this hearing, you should have spent more time getting your documents together and less time printing up a giant poster board that said, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." I feel bad for the intern who had to go to Kinko's and print out a giant copy of Michael Cohen's face. Can you imagine what the employees at Kinko's thought? Oh, is this for some kind of joke? No, it's for Congress. This is a thing for Congress. Again, you're supposed to get together and plan your questions. Clearly, the Republicans did not do that. For example, here's Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins, who tried to claim Cohen was just doing this to get a TV deal, but ended up embarrassing himself.
One of my colleagues asked you regarding the television deal. You expressed wonderment that your predicament could possibly get you on television. It certainly got you on television today, has it not, sir?
Sir, I was on television representing Mr. Trump going back into 2011.
Well, I didn't know who you were until today, really.
What? What? You didn't know who Michael Cohen was until today? You see, sir, I don't own a TV. I get all my news from a gossipy alligator. Cohen's on the news all the time. There are babies out there whose first words were Michael Cohen. Also, why are you dressed like that? Did you get confused and think this was a wedding? You look like one of the groomsmen. Did you buy that vest at Billy Bayou's bridal shop? Then there was Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan, the guy who accidentally yielded his time before he was done. Jordan tried to impeach Cohen's character. But for the most part, he just yelled all the random buzzwords you hear Fox News pundits screaming about all day.
James Comey, director, fired. Andy McCabe, deputy director, fired. Lied 3 times under oath, under investigation, right as we speak. Jim Baker, FBI counsel, demoted, then left, currently under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Connecticut. Lisa Page, demoted, then left. Peter Strzok, deputy head of counterintelligence, demoted, then fired.
That sounded like a Fox News version of We Didn't Start the Fire. Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, Benghazi, my shirt's untucked. It's so... Donald Trump didn't start a fire. It's so obvious that Democrats got together and came up with a plan for how to question Cohen, and Republicans got together and were like, okay, Jim, you yell at him. Paul, you print out the poster boards. And Clay, we're counting on you. You ready, Clay? Oh, I'm more than ready. Just one question. Who's Michael Cohen? And where's the D? I'm ready to dance. Today, we witnessed something truly rare and historic. One of the president's closest personal confidants detailing Trump's alleged crimes and personal failings for the entire world to see. This hearing also showed that Republicans are supporting Trump despite the fact that there's still so much we don't know about him. If Donald Trump himself were called to testify before Congress, at least one Republican would say,
Well, I didn't know who you were until today, really.
This has been A Closer Look.